Okay, Wednesday morning in the kingdom, and we got word there's no beer truck today because of the road conditions or the rotation of the earth or something like that. I don't know. So the staff is going to have to go get the last of the beer at the beer store, but we'll keep everybody posted when the beer arrives. Like last week, it didn't arrive on Wednesday, but the guy Johnny there, he's a good guy. He delivered the beer on holiday Friday there, Remembrance Day, so the place opened up so the beer could be accepted, eh? Because it's so important, eh? Well, we don't care or know what happened to the groceries or anything like that. But oh well, that's a minor detail. So Wednesday in the kingdom, and it's warm. It's like really warm here, and it's like minus. Oh, I got my notes here. Okay, it's -5 Celsius, but the wind makes it feel like -10 Celsius. So that's 23 F, but feels like 14 F on the F scale. Okay, so we had fun yesterday out on the muskeg with the little cat pulling pretty good. The whole idea is you got to work it, baby. You got to work that muskeg to get it to freeze. Okay, just like an ugly stripper. Oh, wait, that's me. Maybe that's a good thing because in Canada we don't have dollar bills or $2 bills. We have dollar coins and $2 coins. So that means the ladies would have to put $5 in my G string undies, eh? So that would work out pretty good. Oh, maybe not because maybe they would just put the change out of their pockets in my G string underwear. Oh, that's not good. Well, I better continue my career as a YouTuber making money this way. Okay, I'm standing in front of the Linn tractor, which is over here, and down there is the track design for the Linn tractor that made it go so fast in the bush and pull hard. But we have the water tank on the back. No, it's not for hauling poo. It's for hauling water so we can flood areas to get it to freeze up like we did down on the muskeg. So there was places when we did drill pads and drill roads for the drillers who still owe me money. Okay, we'd haul the water and flood it, and then they could put the drill on top and then drill deep down in to find the mineral resources that's going to save the world in WHO-ville. Yeah, right. Okay, but that water tank is going to be used here right shortly for our little test roads or our fun roads behind the kingdom there. Because the main thing is we're across that muskeg. Now we can have fun, but we also have to wait for the snow to come, which is happening right now because we need a lot more snow, eh? Because right now we don't have much, and the double Z cut it really hard yesterday, cut it right down, made it smooth. But we'll do more on that later. So today we're going to maintenance the Linn tractor right here, get it serviced and ready to go for when the snow is done. We can go out and have some fun. So let's scroll this way. It's really hard to try to keep the snow off the camera, eh? All right. Oh, God. Oh, I went too fast. All right. The wind has changed now, so the flag exercises, oops, is blowing or wiping the snow off the other side of the tank. Okay, I just untangled him. Now he's all tangled up again. That didn't take long. It's just like little kids and teeny bopper, no, kindergarten kids. You may turn your back, they're misbehaving. But the main thing is the weather has changed. So maybe we're going to get some cold weather because it's like too warm, eh? All right, I better go find the dog. He was here somewhere. Oh, where'd he go? I don't know. Maybe he went to go get some. Oh, there goes the flag. Maybe he'll untangle himself. All right, I better have my second cup of coffee, eh? Okay, one of the Kingdom followers asked why the exhaust pipe on the little TD6 known as Aggie was so loose and flopping all over the place. Also, the reason why we have a windshield is to keep the cold air off our face and stuff like that. Also, we stand up to drive these cats because we drive them a long time. So standing up and holding onto the windshield is a lot easier on your butt and your knees and your back. So, and also too, the windshield is supported with these rods, okay, right here, that allow tree branches and everything to slide up. But also too, the exhaust pipe comes out, okay? See that? It comes out because if it's fixed solid and a tree hits or tree branch hits the exhaust stack, it'll break the manifold. Trust me, I've done it. And trying to get manifolds for these old cats is getting harder and harder. Okay, this is a propane tiger torch that works as a flamethrower when the gas turns to a liquid, all right? These are common in the north and the propane is getting expensive and we have to keep the propane warm. That's why it's always in the hoe shack. All right, so the idea is you're out on the trail, you're out freezing your tushy off, and the cat broke down. So to be able to work on the cat, you need heat. And the best way to put heat to anything, okay, I'm going to try it here, is this fits in here like that. So now you can blow the heat to wherever you want or have a safe distance away, okay? So everything we do up here in the north is all about survival, okay? So I better go have my second cup of coffee. Also too, in yesterday's video, all I could hear was clinkety clank, clinkety clank. It turns out it's the chain here. Oh, there. That's the sound that it makes in the video. So it's 23 minutes of video with clinkety clank, clinkety clank. That's like having the ex-wife in the room nattering away. I will correct that for the next videos. It only took 2 days in the shop for the muskeg ice and everything to melt off the 41 Chevy big wheels, okay? So now I'm putting them in the boxcar over here, eh? But at my age, I'm not going to roll that tire around, and stuff like that because, it'll push me around. I'll fall down, then I'll try and get it up and everything like that. So it's better to use the mini hoe, work smarter, not harder. Okay, after lunch in the kingdom, and still no word on the beer truck, but I'm going to offend a few people. But first off, a disclaimer. I know nothing of the Linn tractors that run around the fairgrounds with the wheels on the front and they putt along on a smooth surface and wave to the ladies in the grandstands, and everybody thinks the Linn tractors are the greatest machines ever made. Well, I thought so too. But I made a living driving these Linn tractors and hauling freight to American fishing lodges, okay? Plus, I donate a lot of time and energy to donate information and such to museums so people know all about these Linn tractors. And these museums blew me off. Yes, blew me off like my ex-wife. So the information I donated to them and helped document their Linns fell on deaf ears or probably in the waste paper basket. So I have a dislike for museums, okay? I like people like me who take these machines out and work them and show what they're made for. Because now I'm going to offend everybody and tell the world that the Linn tractor with the skis on the front for winter freighting is the most useless thing ever around next to a lawyer. And I know all about lawyers because I spent so much money during my divorces and separations on lawyers that I could have went to law school myself. Yes, I would have been very good as a lawyer. Lawyer Joey Barnes, you're the greatest. I could go to any divorce case and win and whatever. Yeah, right. Enough of that shit. Oh, I said that word. Okay, the downfall of the Linn tractor is the steering, okay? And I base my opinions and stuff on, I talked to the old guys before they die, and they all laughed at me that I had 2 Linn tractors and I was going to make money freighting to these lodges. And they just shook my head, their heads, and offered me another beer because I was in La La Land. Oh, the wind's getting up. I don't know if you guys can hear me. But the skis are steered by the chain system. See the chain down there? Look at that. Look at that chain. Okay? The original Linn tractor chain design is a sprocket system. So you had to turn the steering wheel like 300 times to get the ski to move 1 inch. So we had to modify all that so we could turn it maybe once or twice and get maybe 1 inch or whatever. Okay, the next downfall of the Linn tractor, as we go over here. All right. Oops. Okay. That wind's getting nasty. I don't know if I can turn my back or I can't do that. Okay, the differential in this thing is like a car. Okay, like a car. And there's no brakes on it except for on the dry shaft. And they put steel shoes on them. So you set the brakes, drive out, have fun, use the brakes to stop before you hit the tree. And now the brake shoes are getting hot. Okay, so when steel warms up, it expands. Now the brakes are dragging. So now you're going across the lake at 4 in the morning and you're having a little fire underneath the Linn tractor because oil grease from 80 years or whatever has now started a fire because the brake shoes is naturally dragging. Friction, that's what brakes do. Okay, I can't really see here. It's bad glare. All right, but having a differential rear end, that means that the tracks will not power themselves. So if one track gets hung up or whatever, it doesn't turn, okay? Just like a car. Only a car's one tire spins on one side, right? So to get this thing to make a turn, you have to chain the track here to the frame, okay, which way you want to turn, because there's no steering brakes or steering clutches or anything like that, like a Caterpillar, okay? So then you're fighting around with that. Like, this thing is made for speed. It's a highway truck for the bush. It goes fast. It'll do 21 kilometers an hour, pulling 6 empty sleighs. And a cat, when a cat is empty in fifth gear, it gets maybe, I think it's 9. Oh, my memory's a little foggy. Okay? So I basically tell everybody, unless you've driven and worked with these Linn tractors, you have to know what they're all about. We don't take the Linn tractors out unless there's lots of snow and a road is built for them. Because that's like no different than taking a highway truck and going off-roading. That's what they do now with all the truck drivers and everything, from foreign countries driving in Canada. They just miss the road and go in the trees and the bush, and they're useless. They don't drive, So that tells you all about the Linn. So today we're going to grease and document the Linn tractor. That's why I also put this different wardrobe on, okay? So I'm going to get greasy like my ex-wife's cooking. But sorry to offend you, but we'll point these details out. And we're going to take the Linn out this winter and have fun. We're going to hit some trees, and then we're going to back up and hit a couple more trees. Because that's how useless they are when it comes to turning. So anytime we take the Linn tractor out back in the heyday when we put 1,400 kilometers on in one season there, the famous black cat was always there. Because the famous black cat had to assist the Linn tractor. Because the Linn tractor is useless like a lawyer. Okay, now that everybody's upset, have a drink, because I know I'm going to. The Linn tractor originally came with a Cummins motor and a 6-cylinder diesel, and it had a direction box on it because the Linn tractor has a transmission back there, which is a 5-speed. So all we did was put the motor out of the welding truck, which is a 350 small block Chevy with the RV cam, and the 4-speed here, which gives us the power, because now we have 18 gears to make the thing move. And the thing is, we're having trouble steering this thing with the lightweight motor on the front. So can you imagine with a big Cummins what it weighed? And the old timers told me that numerous times that they were hard to steer. And they have to have a road to drive on. So now we'll go underneath and look at the steering. Of course, as soon as you crawl underneath the equipment, the wind gets up. So I don't know if we have any wind noise. But the original sprocket size on that shaft was on the gear or steering box here, which is now the big sprocket. We had to get that made in Edmonton because back 25 years ago, they weren't something you buy at Princess Auto. So these turn the steering box numerous times, and it turns the shaft, which winds up the chains. So this is just a nightmare. So this system we made here has worked for 26 years. You can actually steer it and control it, not like it was before. Okay, this is a steering system, or the chain system for the steering. So basically it's like a steam engine or the old tractors where you crank the wheel, the chain rolls up on one side and then rolls on the other side to make things turn. So we really pay attention to the grease we use in here because it has to turn easily. So we use a lot of winter grease and we maintenance this very well because it's very important. Because if this thing is jamming and hard to turn, everything back here is hard to turn. The problem we had with the steering box is it's full of grease, and we put the winter grease in it and stuff like that, but it didn't help. So these are the heater lines that go to the heater in the cab. So what we did was we wrapped them around the steering box. Right down there. Don't know if my finger, you can see it. That's how we wrap it around, because we got to get heat to the steering box so the gear or the grease lubes up or you can work it, because you can't steer this thing when it's cold. It's just terrible. The Linn tractor comes with a big steering wheel, which is vertical here, which helps to get your feet on the dash to turn it, okay? But the older I get, the fatter I'm getting, so this space in here is limiting me jumping in and out very quickly. A couple more years, I'll have to use the passenger's door to enter and exit the Linn tractor. Okay, we have the 4-speed Chevy transmission right here, like just out of the grain truck sort of thing. I forget what the transmission came out of, because I ran an automatic when it was in the 46 Chevy welding truck. And then we made our own shifter levers here to shift the back transmission, which is the Linn tractor transmission. So originally it had a direction finder and you shifted the gears on this back transmission. Now we leave this transmission in a gear and we shift the Chevy 4-speed to find the gear for the power, because that little small block Chevy doesn't have all the power in the world, but we find the gear and it'll pull. Okay, on the back of the Linn tractor here, Linn made everything themselves, and everything has a darkness in color because their foundry was putting manganese into the material, or the molten steel. So Linn made everything themselves, and when I talked to the old timers down in Morris, New York, when I first got the Linn 26 years ago, they said I wouldn't have any problems with these final drives, and they are correct. It is a tough steel that they used. The Linn tractor used a chain-in-chain design, which worked out very well. And in the summertime, they have this oiler system here that pours oil onto those little rollers down there. That works good until the Swedish kid shows up and gives you what for that. But everything has a black tinge in the metal they pour or made, because they made their own steel, and they have the big springs and everything up here, so if there's a rock or anything gets in the track. But being a differential style rear end, if you want to turn sharp or you can't turn, you have to throw a chain around the track up here, okay, through the jack and around the frame here, and this locks up the track on this side so that powers the track on the other side and you get to turn. Or you just travel the winter road trails or the cat train trails with a small cat, or like the famous black cat, and it assists you in all the turns. This truck, the Linn tractor, cannot go to the bush unless there's a road made and maintained for it to travel on. It's a highway truck for the bush. Back when we were a big-time freighting outfit out of the kingdom here, hauling to the American fishing lodges, and Zena was in her poopy diaper, we used the original gas tanks, the auxiliary gas tanks for the Linn tractors when they were on the haul from Sheraton to WHO-ville. So we set one up so the fuel draws out of it here, okay? So that one feeds the Linn tractor, and then you always carry this as your reserve tank to feed the famous Black Cat because it's gas too. And another thing here is the Linn tractor is totally useless unless it has weight. And then we found out building drill roads that if we put an 800-gallon water tank on the back, we can fill up at the lake and then run like hell over the trails we built to get to the drill hole to flood the ground to make it solid for the drill to be able to drill down 700 meters and then be able to pull up the rods. So 3 times 700 meters, that's 2,100 feet, I think it is. That's a lot of drill steel. That's 75 pounds of drill rod, plus you add the water inside the drill rod. So you have to have a really good base for these drillers to drill down to find the minerals that's going to save WHO-ville. Yeah, right. But the Linn tractor has to have weight. So we have water barrels that go on the back here for weight, or we're going to fill and use this water tank, and we'll do a little flooding to show everybody what it's like to play with water when it's really cold. Well, I better get back to greasing and servicing it because I really haven't done anything, eh? I'm just too busy chatting away here like a social butterfly. Okay, I'm just about finished here and my hands are clean so we can do a video. So I jacked the front of the Linn tractor up, and then I could get grease in between the pivot and there's a brass bushing down there, okay? So I'll show you the tool that I use for that. Okay, one thing nice about a Linn tractor being American made, they used imperial measurements for everything. So seals, nuts, bolts, everything like that. So it's easy to get parts for it. So the only special tool that I have for this is the front axle pivot. So that's the color of grease, or how thin the grease is, because we're using this winter grease. I'm not supporting brands or anything like that. I just tell you it's winter grease. Go find the grease that's suitable for your climate, because I don't promote other products. I promote Dr. Hook Towing because I know Dr. Hook a long time ago when he was in medical school, I guess you could say, or just starting out, and Westrans, where Sir Rodney works, because I was buying parts when for my equipment when it was brand new or still on the shelves. Now it's obsolete parts and Rodney has to find them. So we stick this flattened out tube in, and we can grease the pivots on the front steering, so that gets everything in there good. And you have to lift the brass bushing up. And we got a few other things done on the Linn tractor. We lubed up the choke, we lubed up the gear shifts, everything like that. Now over here on the air cleaner, we only use the Linn in the winter, so that little flap there is screw nailed shut. Okay, we don't want outside air going into the carburetor, so we suck off of the manifold here because we want warm air going in. All right, so I've worked on this Linn tractor for 3 hours now. It last ran a year ago, so I've greased and serviced it. I don't know about these idiots on YouTube and stuff like that with this will it start, dragging vehicles out of the bush and ethering it to death to start it. In my eyes, that's stupid. Save the machine, work on it, and make it last. Why blow it up? Okay, but I guess that's society. Oh, we better take a look to see what the flag exercise looks like, because it's just about 5 o'clock old time, so we can quit. Always a tangled mess, which I'm going to be later tonight after I edit this video and enjoy the vodka. Okay, we'll talk to you guys later.